Welcome to episode 99 of the Character Unlock podcast, the Flake podcast, if you will. I've forgotten where I'll go from here. Oh yeah, my name's Brooker. Hi guys, I'm Brooker, I'm hosting this week, and joining me, as always, is my good buddy John.
Hi.
And my good buddy Lee.
Hello.
Hello lads, how we doing?
Much worse now that you made that stupid joke.
What? Everyone loves a 99 flake. Don't bullshit me.
Everyone does. They don't like you when you joke about it.
I just thought it was lame.
It was lame. I'm a dad.
That's true. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm really good. Yeah.
Are we?
Temperature's cooled off a bit.
I was going to say, are we all
while just sitting here?
Are we all a little bit happy now the temperature's dropped just a tad?
Yeah.
Lads, about 9 o'clock this morning, it was pissing it down with rain. There was a cold wind, and I had every fucking window in the house open. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this while it's there.
Obviously, I thought you were just going to say that I stood outside in the wind with my arms and my t-shirt above my head going, doing the Michael Jackson thing.
Do that again?
In the storm. No.
Oh.
No, I sat in my kitchen because I'm working from home this week. I sat in my kitchen freezing my bollocks off all the windows open. I'm like, not going to complain. I'm going to enjoy it because the weather says it's going to get warm and wet, and I don't want to sit in some old man's taint. I'm going to enjoy the cool air for a little bit. Yeah.
The thing is, it wasn't actually cold. It was still fucking hot. It just
still
wasn't
22
30 degrees.
Yeah.
Not 32 yesterday. Got up to in mine.
Lads, anything above about 15, I just can't deal with it anymore. I need cold weather. I should be living in the Antarctic, I think.
You just need to move slightly further north. I mean, you moved away from London, but just not far enough to be classed out of north. So you need to go north,
I don't
where you only get like one day of sun a year.
I don't want to go north.
Yeah, my mom's been complaining about the fact that it's really cold and a bit muggy up north. It's like it only went above 30 once this year.
Wow.
The rest of the time it's been like, well, peaking at 22. So
Maybe I should move north. Something I should consider, I think.
Scotland. I hear that it's just cold there all the time.
Hinkley. Midlands ain't so bad.
Well, apart from the whole lockdown thing.
Hinkley's not in the lockdown, kiddo.
No, but
then loads of places up north are.
Mostly just the northwest.
Yeah.
And the Midlands.
And there's me going, I'm so happy I'm back in the office almost full time from next week. I can't fucking wait.
This is where they find another way to fuck you. So
it's
you
work. It's basically what they
home.
exist to do.
Yeah, somehow you end up spending more time at home than before.
Yeah.
Because they decide you need to be on the working from home team permanently.
Happily, because come September when everyone's back at work, I will literally just sit in my living room playing Xbox and occasionally wiggling the mouse on my laptop to make it look like I'm sat there still.
Well, I suppose, apart from all of the fucking calls that come in that only you can deal with because,
That's all right.
Working from home.
You're a professional.
I am not. How dare you say such a thing?
You're certainly more professional than I am.
I mean, I'm not doubting that, but
I'm taking recordings of this for people's future referencing.
Why would I give you as a reference?
I'm just going to pretend I'm John and give you a false phone number. Or I'm going to get hold of John's phone and auto-forward anything.
Okay. Good luck.
I'll find a way.
I wish you luck.
Fucking with people's lot, my second favourite thing in the world.
What's your first?
What's your first two?
No, this is... No. Let's not discuss that. Playing games.
Has it got anything to do with the teabagging that was being discussed before we started recording?
Oh, that's a close third.
Just a light teabagging.
Well, seeing as we've degenerated the conversation already...
It never takes that long.
No, it doesn't take that long, usually. Doing all right, I suppose. But there's actually shitloads I want to talk about this week, because loads has happened the last couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
where should we start, boys? Do you want to start with the PlayStation State of Play?
Sure.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Did you both watch it?
No.
I watched bits
Bits. Fair enough.
because I was busy, but I did catch bits.
So it was on last week, and it kind of took the same tone as all the other State of Plays we've seen. So it's just basically trailer after trailer after trailer with a little bit of narration in between, a bit of voiceover. You know, it's Sony's Nintendo Direct, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I quite like them. I have to admit, I'm liking these little bite-sized things. You know, same with the Xbox ones. I'm liking the little bite-sized things we're getting. I think they're doing. You know, I think they get a bit of information out there. Obviously, get everybody excited with a few trailers. I like a good trailer. So, yeah. But this one started with Crash Bandicoot 4. How do we feel about Crash 4, lads?
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I bought the Crash 1 to 3 reboot on Switch. And
Yeah,
I
me
started
too.
playing the first. Remembered how fucking hard it was, so got about halfway through and then didn't play it again, and I didn't play 2 or 3. So I've not really got that sort of vibe going on.
I do get this.
Fourth.
I get this fear that because I have really fond memories of Crash Bandicoot, and I've got this fear that actually those memories are far better than the actual game. And
Yeah, of course.
And
And
I'm
like
gonna-
a lot of memories.
yeah, I'm going to boot up the game and go, well, this was bollocks. What did I spend 40 quid on this shit for?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not utterly convinced it's a 40 quidder, if I'm honest. I mean, how big can it be? It's not going to be a 40-hour game, is it? Surely.
Well,
I mean, if it
imagine
was, I think if it was, it'd make it less likely I'd spend 40 quid on it, to be honest, because who wants to play Crash Bandicoot for 40 hours? Like, ever. I don't care how fucking good your game is. No one wants 40 hours of Crash Bandicoot platforming. Absolutely not.
Yeah. I think it would sit better as sort of a 25, 30 quid title.
Yeah.
Likely that it won't be, but I think personally I'd be more inclined to pick it up at that price.
Yeah, I think I kind of sit there as well. Like, it doesn't matter which format I pick it up on. Is it exclusive to PlayStation?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think I've seen anything confirmed for it.
No, I'm pretty sure that PlayStation are the only people I've seen do adverts for it. So I'm guessing.
I don't know. Maybe that's
They
worth
also were the
checking
only
out.
ones advertising the Insane Trilogy.
Yeah, I mean,
before
you're
it
not.
went
Yeah,
across.
you're not wrong. I was just
Might be
curious.
time delayed.
I think whichever format I buy it on, I think 30 quid would probably be my top limit for that. Even then,
Well, you won't be getting it on Switch then.
no, I fucking
Ever.
won't.
It'll be 60 quid in 20 years.
It will on discount.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Discounted 1%.
But it was so it wasn't just an advert. It was a bit of a play, you know, a couple of minutes playthrough with some voiceover from one of the game directors, talking about just stuff in the game. All looks like standard fare for platforming games nowadays. You unlock different game modes and different, you know, things to change the dynamic of the maps as you play. Like challenge modes for everything. Looks
Yeah, I didn't see anything that really blew me away and thought, wow, that's totally different. That's new. That's cool.
yeah,
I've just seen loads of things that have been done elsewhere anyway,
yeah,
which is a shame because I thought, you know, Crash when it first came out, it was unique in a way. So those sort of runner games never really been around until Crash. There's the odd one,
yeah,
but Crash really set itself apart as something that was pretty special.
yeah.
And especially switching between the running mode and the 2D modes as well, which, you know, I don't believe I'd seen that before. I might be wrong. And then a lot of other games since then have copied it. So obviously Sonic Heroes and stuff like that, they all copied it too. So it's
Yeah.
obviously a format that worked. So I'd like to see something in this one that really sort of says, oh, this hasn't been done in a platformer before, and really knock something out of the park. But we'll see.
Yeah, but that's due in October, I think, if I remember rightly. So, and then we had guys. They blew their load early for me.
You blew your load early.
I really fucking did as well. I really did. So IO Interactive showed off Hitman 3 and didn't really show off Hitman 3. But what they did show was Hitman first person mode.
Yeah.
And then revealed that Hitman 1, 2 and 3 will all be playable in first person mode in VR on PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't make it worth spending money on a VR headset, I can't think of anything that is.
If only you had one.
Yeah. To be fair,
Well,
once the PS5 comes out, the one I had previously would be 2 versions behind. So,
Yeah, right, yeah.
so
Cheers, Sony.
I don't know, saving my pennies hoping for a V3 when the PS5 comes out.
PSVR 5.
Well, I mean, obviously we've got the V2 at the moment, so I don't know where to start putting my money. Do you know what I mean? So they're announcing games that are going to be in VR on PlayStation 5, which is great. But if I'm, as I am now, if I'm not a current VR consumer, am I buying a V2? Am I going to buy a V3 for PS5? Is there going to be a V3 when PS5 comes out?
Probably.
You
I
know?
would have thought so, wouldn't you?
Well, I would have fucking hoped so.
PlayStation haven't really confirmed that their peripherals are carrying over either.
No,
with the exception of the DS4.
Yeah, they've said the DS4 is not going to be forward compatible to
so
new games.
The DS4 will work on all
PS4 games.
that come over from the PS4. But obviously, anything that has DualSense, exclusive stuff isn't going to work. I'm pretty sure they've already said that PSVR will work with the PS5, but
They haven't said what PSVR.
I'm kind of leaning towards wanting whatever brand new one comes out with the PS5, but at the same time, they need to hurry up and fucking confirm it, because otherwise I could go out and get a V2 relatively cheap in the sales that keep appearing, and then just leave it in a box and wait. Do you know what I mean?
So I don't think
and not
that
have
the
to lay
tech
out
in the
£800.
I don't imagine V1, V2, and or V3 when it comes around will be that different in terms of the actual games you can play. I'm assuming you can still play V1 with the current crop, even though the V2 is around.
Yeah. The V2, if I remember right, the V2's got a slightly different cabling setup for the headset. It's got a slightly different box, I think, for the HDMI pass-through. I don't know the details or the specs. Frankly, I haven't bothered looking since I got rid of my last one, and then got annoyed that I got rid of it. If I start reading about the differences, I'll end up buying one, and that's £250 I don't quite want to spend yet. Do you know what I mean?
Hitman's going to be fucking hard, mate. Because you're going to be missing. You're going to be, you're going to be missing that peripheral vision.
You need to be able to see your environment.
You're literally going to be standing in your living room, like swinging your head left and right constantly.
Yeah.
You could have fucking killer neck ache. It's like going to a metal concert for 3 days.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely brutal, because you need that peripheral vision. You need to see everything in your environment. You know, there are maps in Hitman 1 and 2 that you spend hours learning and figuring out where people are going, so you know where you can avoid them. If you can't fucking see them, it's going to be a nightmare. But saying that, and I'm not being big-headed about it, I could do with a fucking challenge on Hitman 2. I spent all of last year playing it. I've gotten pretty good at it. You know, that's a nice level.
Still not Loveridge level professional though, mate. You're a mile off.
I will never be Loveridge level professional. Never. To be honest about it, this is literally the only fucking one-on-one game I've ever managed to beat John at.
Yeah, I tell you, the VR of it, what very little they showed, did look like it'd be super fun.
It looks like fucking Manhunt.
Yeah.
It looks like
that needs a revival.
It looks like 4K Manhunt. I mean, there's going to be some fucking people. There's going to be some parents screaming about this game.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what sort of hand movements you have to do with the move controllers to sort of garrote someone.
Can you fucking imagine?
You've just got you end up just catching your cat by accident.
Punching the kid in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that'd be fun. I'll be looking forward to laughing at you playing that at some point.
Oh, it'd be great. I'm really looking forward to it. It's the thing. It's another one on that list of things where I go, why wouldn't I fucking buy a PS5? You know it, but that's the conversation for later on. But yeah, Hitman 3, all three of them in VR. I just need to buy copies of 1 and 2 on the cheap at some point.
Yeah.
Braid Anniversary Edition. I've never played Braid.
I downloaded it, and it is definitely one of the sort of games that I want to play, but I've just not got around to playing it yet.
But
So
now you
I
can get
will.
the anniversary edition.
Yeah,
It did
What's
look
different?
nice. It's a
it's just upscaled it a
yeah.
bit. and-
It's been cleaned up.
well, I'll play the free one first and see if I like it before I buy the new one.
Yeah. But the anniversary edition is coming out early next year on all platforms, including Switch. So,
Cool, plenty of time then.
oh yeah, absolutely. The Pathless. That looked
Yeah,
interesting.
that was the foresty one, right?
Yeah, it was the one flying
Archery.
through. Yeah, the archery kind of. You have to fire from target to target to keep your momentum going through worlds.
Yeah, kind of. It felt a lot like Mirror's Edge in
Yeah,
a way.
I remember watching the video and I'm going, oh, I'm not sure I fancy that because that seems like it has to be too precise and I'll lose my fucking nut trying to aim at these targets as we go. And then the guy goes, nah, it just auto aims for you. All you've got to do is fire at the right time. I'm like, okay, actually, this sounds kind of cool.
It definitely has potential to look pretty spectacular if you don't have to pay attention to things like QTEs and timing.
Yeah, so I think it's more about timing than aiming, which I think is great because obviously high-speed, precise aiming with a controller ain't necessarily the best. But if it's all about the timing, then and there's some kind of cue, whether it be visual, audio, or just a little shake on the controller, I think I can deal with that. Looks fun. Looks a bit like Journey with archery.
Yep.
I do fancy that, I have to admit.
Yeah. I liked his little bird friend.
The bird looked kind of cool.
Pet bird.
Yeah.
I love pet birds. Should be more of them in games.
They
Everyone's going raving about pet dogs in games at the minute, being able to pet dogs. Let's get some birds in there.
You can pet foxes in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, well, it's technically a dog.
Is it?
Very technically.
On a very high level technicality because it has
Yeah.
4 legs and fur.
It's in the canidoid family, or canidoid, or however you pronounce it. Fuck knows.
Fair
Canid
enough.
family.
Did not know that. I've always thought they were just giant fucking rodents. I love them. I think they're great, but they look and act like giant fucking rodents.
Yes.
Spelunky 2.
Um,
I have nothing to say on Spelunky.
Well, see, I didn't like it when I first played it because it was a randomly. I think if I remember right, it's randomly generated.
I think it might be,
Spelunky
yeah.
1, and I didn't like it because of that. But then I've played other games since that are very similar in vein to that. So like SteamWorld Dig and stuff like that, which I
Yeah.
actually quite enjoyed. So that makes me think, well, I've played other games that are, sort of Dead Cells and stuff like that are reasonably randomly generated, and I've enjoyed them too. So I'm thinking, well, should I just go back and play Spelunky then and just get it over and done with? Because everyone else raves about it. And then when I seen that, I thought, oh, well, actually, that looks pretty good too. So, yeah.
See, these are games that I will play when you come back and tell me that I should be playing them.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Well, I better have a go then.
But no, because they're the kind of games that I kind of look at and go, do I want to spend time and money on these? Probably not.
Sure, I've got it somewhere. I'll have to, most likely on my Xbox.
And I kind of look at it and go, I don't know if I can be bothered. But, and then like with, what was the one I played on my Switch that wasn't
Bastion.
Transistor? Bastion. You told me to play, and I did, because you said it was fucking brilliant. So I did, and it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm still not necessarily going to play every one of these games that you tell me is brilliant, but sometimes, I do listen. Because I'll always
That's great.
I'll always take a recommendation, the same as I would for a film. And it will always be there, and I'll go, oh yeah, I remember somebody recommending that to me. Yeah, let's have a Butcher's. Oh, that was a bag of shit. Why would I do that again? So if you tell me Spelunky's worth playing, I'll come back and play it.
Noted. I'll give it a bash when I'm finished with Days Gone.
Cool. I don't remember this next one. Genshin Impact. Genshin? Looks Japanese. Genshin.
That's not even on the list of the games that's in front of me, so
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Colloquially known as Anime Breath of the Wild. Wow, you've lost me on so many levels.
which part? The anime part or Breath of the Wild?
Well,
Or
literally
the fact
both.
that
All
you
of
thought
it.
that Breath of the Wild was anime and therefore must be much
I say, is Breath of the Wild not anime? But I don't know anything about this, so moving on. Aeon Must Die. I don't remember this
Yep.
either. This Neon Flecked beat 'em up.
2D.
Sounds great.
2D one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks okay to me.
Okay.
I like a 2D. It's one that looked a bit more like it was cartoony, like kind of not too dissimilar from Cuphead, but not quite as old school as that.
Ah, yeah, I remember.
Includes vehicular sequence and plenty of demonic enemies. Apparently.
Well, that's what you all want. Every good thing has a vehicular sequence of some description. Okay, cool. We'll try it.
Cool.
I'll try it.
I do. The problem is with stuff like this, I tend to glaze over when when a certain art style appears on the TV. I go, nope, and then just stare off into space, waiting for something to grab my attention. I'm guessing.
It looks more like it was my kind of thing, I guess. We'll wait and see.
I don't remember Anno Mutationem.
An adventure game featuring 2D and 3D segments and a unique mix of pixel and 3D art.
No, I still don't
Sounds
remember.
almost like you've read that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't recall that one.
Apparently it's a melee-focused adventure with story mode.
Okay,
Apparently.
fair enough. And then
That sounds like my kind of thing.
yeah,
It does sound exactly up Lee's street. Story plus fighting
Yeah,
in 2D and 3D versions.
yeah. Well,
apparently,
sign me up at some point.
apparently it has an atmospheric score that drips with Blade Runner nostalgia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely in.
There we go. We've got a guinea pig.
Superb. Anybody want to volunteer to be a guinea pig for Bug Snacks?
Go fuck yourself.
We
No,
will,
and that's not for me.
we will move on then, because I couldn't give two shits about Bug Snacks. It looks fucking terrible. How about Star Wars VR Vader Immortal? Who wants to be
Well-
Darth Vader in VR?
Well,
I
everyone.
kind of want to be.
But I've just got a horrible feeling that I would be hitting things in the living room if I played that.
Yeah.
Slinging your arm out for the force, I'd be throwing my move controller everywhere.
Yeah, so
And
the
I'll
thing,
definitely be slapping Arthur in the face when I'm pretending to use a lightsaber.
yeah, so that is a worry if you got a little one that's going to wander around while you're doing stuff, because they don't understand that you can't fucking see them.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, for the thing with so when I had my VR before, what worked really well is because almost every VR experience on PlayStation is like a standing or seated experience. You don't have to move around. It's a static experience. You can you're in one spot and just kind of twist. It's not like some of the games on Oculus and that, where you can literally walk around your entire fucking room and do stuff. So you can literally just stand there and start swinging away. So if you've got a decent bit of room where you can swing it and you'll be fine. But I think I would still my living room's quite small. I'd probably end up punching the TV.
plus you've also got a dog and a small child and a wife,
Yes.
all of which may get collided with in some way or another.
Several of which, if they turn up at the hospital with black eyes, and I go, I was playing VR, I promise. I still have the police on my door, so because they've heard that a million times before. I'm going to skip over this next one because we're going to talk about it in a bit. What the fuck is auto chess? And I don't remember seeing that.
Nope, not on my list.
Okay,
Don't remember it.
moving on. The Pedestrian. A puzzle platformer with a very big twist. You don't just control your character, a stick person from traffic signs and diagrams. You also move around the little bits of the environment around in-game real world, connecting paths and rearranging elements so the figure can make their way through. Okay, that actually sounds kind of cool.
I'm just not. I just don't care for stick figure stuff.
No, I like a good puzzle game, but not on my console. It needs to be on my iPad or on my phone, or at best on my Switch. So I've got something to pass the time when I'm
Touchscreen.
taking a shit. It's not even the touchscreen. It's puzzle games don't hold my attention for long enough to make my rare couple of hours when I play games, worth wasting on a puzzle game. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get you. Most puzzle games need precision occasionally in some parts,
Yeah.
which you just can't get with a controller.
But so I'm desperate to play. What's that big one that everyone raved about a couple of years ago? Is it The Witness?
Sure.
Is it The Witness?
Witness sounds.
With the big...
Can I get a Witness?
No. No, you cannot. And I really want to play it. But I literally, my brain goes, it's a puzzle game. I've got this stupid expensive, TV and video game setup. I want to play a game. I don't want to play a puzzle game. I want to play Infamous or Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima or anything. I want to play a game. A puzzle game that feels like it should be on an iPad playing that on a console doesn't interest me. But I'm apparently in the minority because everybody that looked at The Witness thought it was fucking great and sat there tracing shit off of it from their TV, which is mental.
Yeah.
And then we had Hood, Outlaws and Legends.
Legends and Outlaws.
Legends and Outlaws. Outlaws and Legends.
Outlaws and Legends.
Yeah, that was the multiplayer, online only sort of PvPvE one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked like Assassin's Creed.
It did look a lot like Assassin's Creed. And if they manage to pull off what they're claiming to do, then, that might be a good way for Assassin's Creed multiplayer to go, because that's a bit lame for most of the time.
Yeah.
So what the general gist I got from it, like 2 players, you've got 4 people, 2 players on each team kind of thing, and one team would go ahead and try and do one part of a puzzle and the other team, so that the other team can get through or whatever. So it was working in teams to work together as one group. I thought it was quite an interesting premise. But
it does look quite cool. I would be up for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Assassin's Creed multiplayer should be PvE. That'd be like teaming up as teams of assassins to try and work your way to getting a target.
Yeah. I didn't
too
mind.
Easy to get a target on its own, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I never minded playing Assassin's Creed multiplayer. You had to go looking for people to play with. So I mean, when AC multiplayer was a thing, I was a member of PS3T and stuff like that. So there were always forums of people that wanted to play. And when you're playing with people that want to play properly, it's a shitload of fun. When you're playing with idiots that are just there to, I don't know, I don't even know why you would not play it properly. Surely if you want to do that, just go play Call of Duty. But yeah, when you played
sprinting around on rooftops and diving on things.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. But yeah, that was that. Yeah, I enjoyed AC multiplayer, and Hood, Outlaws and Legends actually looks really good. I hope that it's got, because the atmosphere looks pretty fucking dark, which sounds cool, and I kind of hope that any progression system doesn't mean that if I've only got a couple of hours a week to play, I'm not going to be severely fucking hamstrung against the people who are there forever. But we shall see. And I think
who's excuse me, who's shipping that? Do we know?
Who's making it? I don't know. Let's have a quick butchers. I can have a Google while we're here. Hood Outlaws.
Sumo Digital. published by Focus Home Interactive, whoever they are.
They did Plague Tale, I think. I think they published Plague Tale. They're a publishing house with not that not that good a track record, if I remember rightly.
Call of Cthulhu, SnowRunner. Oh, that was a tough sell.
Blood
Farming
Bowl.
simulator games.
Vampire. Yeah, very unusual set, but
Cycling Manager.
no way.
Wow.
Have you played that yet?
No, I've not. I really don't want to try.
Oh yeah, they
As
did.
soon as that comes on Game Pass, you're playing it and you know it.
They published a couple of Telltale stuff as well.
Oh yeah, so they did.
Okay.
And Vampire.
Well, maybe not. Well, I think that's one that I'll definitely keep an eye on because it did look entertaining.
Who aren't Sumo Digital? They're the guys that keep upscaling stuff for PS4, aren't they?
Yeah.
If I remember rightly. Oh, yeah, okay.
Focus Home Interactive published Waddle Z that we played.
Yes, they did.
Sumo did Crackdown 3, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And Team Sonic Racing.
Oh, see, that wasn't that bad, was it?
Yeah. Apparently they worked on Forza Horizon 2 and Little Big Planet 3 and Xbox Fitness.
Well, see, there's some good stuff under their belts too.
Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, that was wank.
Can't say I ever bothered, but
Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Woo. Isn't that the new one? That's the
Yeah.
PS5 one.
Yep. So they're working on that.
There you go. Anyways.
shouldn't they have called it Sackboy: A Hessian Adventure?
Maybe.
Guessing they didn't think that far ahead.
Or a hemp adventure would have been funnier.
Yeah.
Could have written some pretty cool levels into that. He gets baked at the start.
And they finished up the State of Play with a Godfall walkthrough.
Oh, they had that hang on, they had that Pokemon one before the Godfall.
Oh, Temtem
Bloody
thing.
Temtem.
Yeah.
Which, fucking throw it out the window. Get rid of it. No one wants any more Pokemon, for fuck's sake.
It's already on PC.
Is it?
Yeah.
John's been playing it.
I've not been playing it. I just know it's been on PC because I saw it purchasable and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I suppose if it's been doing okay on PC, fine, let everyone else have a go. But it's time to let go of Pokemon games and just leave it to Pokemon now. Find some new things to copy. Just bored of them. So many of them.
Clonomons.
Sorry.
Pokemon clones.
Oh, okay.
Clonomons. I mean, some games have done really good ideas and twists on the same premise. So, Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch was very similar, where you had a group, but you had a whole game and it was like spectacular, and you could click, and it made sense. It worked in the game. But then others have just been utter dog shit failures, basically, straight up copy of Pokemon. So, maybe if they do
Trying to copy
something different.
a working thing. This is what the game industry has been doing for years, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe I'm getting old.
Yeah, me and all, mate. Ain't we all? And then we had the Godplay walkthrough. Which...
Yeah.
Godfall playthrough.
Godfall.
What did I say?
It looks fun, Godplay.
Godplay.
It looks fun. I like the look of it. I'm still not overly convinced by it, but they have come out and said that it's got it's co-op with up to 3 people co-op.
With no microtransactions.
And no microtransactions. So I'm thinking, well, hang on, then what exactly is it? Is it just a single player with co-op, or is it? I've not read much about it.
Well, you also got to remember that it's a Gearbox game. So the last time Gearbox came out and said there's no microtransactions, 15 minutes later they showed off microtransactions. So
is it?
Let's not count our chickens just yet.
Game.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I like the look of it. It looks fun. I like that sort of game style. I like that sort of aggressive play.
It's melee focus, which I quite like. It looks like it could be fun. It looks like it could be fun in co-op.
Yeah. Is that a PS5 exclusive? Is it?
I do not know. I do not know.
Well, they showed it off on PS5 development kit, so
PlayStation 5 and Epic Game Store.
So
it's going on
on
PC.
PC then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be fair, I don't think Gearbox could do anything and not put it on the Epic Game Store currently. Pretty sure they're tied into a massive contract. Everything that they do has to go into Epic.
I think they're going to regret that.
A looter slasher, they're calling it. So,
Basically, Borderlands without guns.
yeah.
So how do you follow up with Borderlands' number of guns by having a game with no guns?
Yeah. Bazillions of guns to 0 guns.
We'll see how it is.
Yeah.
Bazillions of knives and swords.
I'm hoping that they've got the balance right, because whilst Borderlands, a lot of the enemies were just bullet sponges, at least you only had to press one button.
Yes.
Whereas if I'm expected to do multiple different combos with the full set of face buttons and triggers, and they're still mega bullet sponges, that's going to ruin it.
That'll get old real quick doing that.
Because
Especially
you'll only end up
each
finding one
enemy
super good combo and just doing the same fucking thing over and over again.
Yep.
They'll make it so that you have to do specific combos in order to beat specific enemies. So it's like there's no point doing the XXY combo if you're playing against this enemy. We have to do XBA combo.
Brilliant.
Because
Can you
that does
imagine?
a sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally imagine. And I'll give it a go because it does look fun, but whether I fork out money for a day one is a different question.
Yeah. That's a game that would, for me, benefit from having some kind of beta that I can get my ass onto just to see if it's worth spending some money on. Or, God forbid, a fucking demo.
I've seen quite a few demos coming out lately, though.
Yeah.
So you never know. You never know.
Well, we're going into a new gen, so generally speaking, you often get demos for games going into new gen because people aren't usually happy with parting with another 80 quid after just spending 500 on a new console.
Can you imagine if there was a demo for Haze? Crytek UK would have gone under so much quicker.
Yeah. I tried to play it. Lasted about 3 minutes, I think.
Well,
I think I got a bit further than that, but it was pretty shit.
Generally speaking, demos aren't the same as the game. Usually, like some other studio makes the demo and they make it separately. So Haze's demo could have actually been really good. Because what was the other game that had a demo that the final product was nothing like? That was a
Aliens,
Gearbox
Colonial
as well.
Marines.
Yeah, there we go. So don't
Whereas
trust the Gearbox
the first show demo wasn't a playable demo, but the first show demo looked fucking spectacular. It's the reason why I bought the Ultimate Edition one with the power loader, and then it came and it was a fucking turd.
Yeah.
Still 1000G'd it though.
No.
Because it was easy, and I wanted to get my money's worth out of that bag of shit. It wasn't that it wasn't fun, because it was a good laugh joining up with people and shooting aliens. It just looked and played crap. It played like a game that was 5 years too old.
It looked like complete arse. It looked fucking awful, that game. And I don't think I've actually seen all the bitching and moaning from the Watch Dogs demo to gameplay. That was nothing in comparison to Alien Colonial Marines from demo to gameplay.
Yeah. What's worse is my power loader was so poorly painted as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's literally about the only limited edition thing that I've just lobbed in the attic and forgot about it.
Surely you could have repainted it yourself.
Effort.
Yeah, but it would look nice.
Oh, I
And
might get
you'd
it
have
back
had the
out now.
nice-
I didn't even think about that. That's probably a good call, actually.
You've probably got some paint left over from your 40k.
Mate, 40k was fucking 15 years ago. It'd have been dried up by now if I had.
Well, you just head down to your local Games Workshop and get some more paint.
There's actually a model spot shop just down there. I can't remember what the name of it is. A proper where they do games and stuff. It's just down the road from me, 5 minutes walk. So I could go and get some paint from in there, I guess.
Walk in with your power loader and say, "I'm going to paint this."
Yeah. Well, when I've got
Show me
got
paint.
money, which is rare, for stuff that I just fancy doing, then I'll consider it.
So that was
There we go.
that was the PlayStation State of Play. Only a couple of other things really to talk about, I think. Let's do the list in order that I wrote it. So let's talk about Avengers.
Oh, my God. What a fucking shit show.
Lee, remember EGX when me and you stood about to consider going into that massive queue? And we both kind of looked to each other and said, let's not bother queuing for this. This is going to be a day one purchase for us.
Yeah.
And now look where we are now.
Yeah. So obviously they announced that Spider-Man was coming to the game, but only for Sony.
Did we talk about this last time, or was this just us chatting on WhatsApp that conversation?
I think it was WhatsApp, mate. I think.
Yeah,
it only came out a couple of days ago.
I was going to say this wasn't 2 weeks worth ago.
No.
No, it might have been come out 2 weeks ago, just after we recorded.
Yeah. I can't remember. It's been a busy couple of weeks, and I'm very tired, so I just don't remember. Which is why I asked.
I'm extremely disappointed. As a preference of console, despite owning both, I generally always go for an Xbox because that's where a large majority of my friends play.
Yeah.
The concept of platform exclusive content just seems so fucking ridiculously dated now.
It does seem antiquated is the best word for that.
Yeah.
It is such an old shit practice.
It's like someone coming out and announcing their vast selection of loot boxes.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't go down very well.
I don't understand the logic behind it for me. So
no, I don't either.
When you look at, especially Sony, the amount of exclusive games Sony have got that sell consoles, that you know what I mean, that legitimately sell consoles. You don't need an exclusive character in a third-party game. You don't.
No. I mean, platform exclusive characters worked PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Wii, because just for a case in point, in a Marvel franchise, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, there were unique characters only available on the Xbox version, on the PlayStation version, and on the Wii version back when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was later on the DLC came around. There wasn't any for the Wii, but the Wii was the only one that got access to, I think, Colossus and Moon Knight to start with. In the remastered edition that we played, I think it was completely opened up. But
they opened it up on the original consoles eventually as DLC.
Yeah, eventually. So platform exclusive content worked in a scenario where it wasn't a live fucking service, when there was no reason to play as those characters or to not play as those characters for any specific reason. If you played on the 360, it didn't matter that you didn't have access to Sabretooth because he was on the PlayStation, for instance. Because it didn't matter. You had access to a full roster, apart from one character, where there was no reason to have said character.
Yeah, and the live service side of it is what's going to make this not only a negative for Xbox and PC players who aren't able to use Spider-Man, it's also going to be a negative for PlayStation players in that. So taking Destiny for example, when that had exclusive strikes and
Weapons.
And weapons, and the strike could never be chosen on the Nightfall rotation, and the PlayStation exclusive Crucible map was never chosen as a dedicated Trials map, and then all the weapons never went to Xur, who used to sell the weapons once a week. And stuff like that. So that affected the PlayStation players too. And yes, they got access to all of them, but they had to, they had to get them, and they couldn't really play them.
Yeah. So if you put an exclusive exotic into it, and you therefore can't buy it, it becomes random luck, randomly generated luck that you find it, because it wasn't like those exotics were exclusive, and you could find them in a guaranteed location by doing a certain thing. And by not having those strikes in the Nightfall or weekly reset challenge strike, you then had to play them on a weak level, which you wouldn't even be interested in playing on, because it doesn't give you the good content. So putting Spider-Man exclusive means that he's not going to have a possible in-depth story or a possible, if you use Spider-Man this week, he gets a buff because it won't feature.
Well,
Or
they've already said that the entire point of the game and part of the main part of it, the ongoing story and how it unfolds over time and how they add additional content. But obviously with Spider-Man,
he's not
they
going to have
can't
that.
add any additional content because they're not going to make they're not going to make a full set and then do sort of Spider-Man separately and just release it on the PlayStation. And that'd be very strange to see.
Well, unless they decide to do that, but that requires
Well, no,
a
it's not. It's
separate
not
team.
financially viable for a development company to do that.
Well, even
Yeah.
if they did do that, the thing is, he's never going to be a major player in the overall storyline.
No.
He's only ever going to be a bit character, and that ruins him as a character as one of the best Avengers. And obviously not in the MCU. Well, I suppose he is in the MCU now, but like the original Avengers, which they're trying to, it just
Yeah.
doesn't fit, and it doesn't fit without him there. And now that he can't be there because whoever decided this deal was a great idea, it was a fucking pillock.
It's gonna fall onto the whole. We've got this group, so the company that makes the game then passes it on to their live service team, and then they'd need to have another live service team that works entirely on Spider-Man for the PlayStation. They're just not going to bother doing that, and if they do bother doing it, it'll be like 3 people, because
Yeah.
otherwise they're going to end up having a whole massive team to work on one project, and then just a couple of guys on the side going, yeah, we're going to put some Spider-Man stuff together occasionally.
Just for me, like if I sitting here from my perspective, Spider-Man is one of my favourite superheroes. I wasn't so inclined to buy it on the PlayStation. Obviously, you and I were both going to get it on Xbox, and we generally play live service together.
Yeah.
So for me, I think Sony's better option would have been giving away their Insomniac's version of Spider-Man and Miles Morales to promote that game across the console.
Yeah.
And they could have given it across all platforms. So they could have had that version to promote their version of Spider-Man in this Marvel Avengers game. And then
Yeah.
everyone would be going, oh, actually, this guy's pretty fucking cool. I better go and buy a PlayStation.
Yeah, they could have easily put, because since this has happened, we've had, by the way, we're going to have special unique skins and things for people if they have Verizon or Virgin
yeah,
Media
that's
or
another big joke.
whatever other fucking random company. I think Intel have it, but AMD don't. So if you've got an Intel PC, you can get access to a special Intel costume.
See, that
If
doesn't
they-
bother me as much as the Spider-Man issue because
No.
there's always been links. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the last game that had it? Final Fantasy VII Remake, you could only get certain items if you bought fucking Butterfinger chocolate bars in America.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Those items only end up being shit anyway. And
Yes.
eventually they release them as DLC. And I know that Verizon or,
Yeah.
Virgin, they may or may not ever get to see that DLC. But essentially that's just a costume. It's not a whole
skins are
goddamn
different
character.
though, aren't they? And if
Yeah.
you're going to insist on running around a live service game wearing a fucking Verizon skin, advertising yourself as a complete fucking bellend, then that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
So I
other-
imagine
other
the
games-
best stuff will already be in there.
Gears of War had that deal with, was it Doritos? Or was it Halo and Doritos and Mountain Dew? Where you got special
Yeah.
costumes if you bought, and you won,
You got double
You
XP and stuff like
won.
that from as well.
from a Mountain Dew bottle, a code. So it wasn't even a guarantee if you drank loads of Mountain Dew, you had to win a code from them or out of a bag of Doritos. But if you put Spider-Man in the game as a whole, and then give the PlayStation variant exclusive Spider-Man costumes that match up to the Insomniac Spider-Man outfit, which is a unique outfit on its own because it features white, which is the first time ever in a Spider-Man, and you give the Miles Morales black costume to PlayStation players. That
See,
would
I
make
didn't
sense.
even think that. I thought they should have just gone and put their actual version, Insomniac's version of Spider-Man and Miles Morales, in every platform game, rather than making it exclusive to PlayStation players for Marvel Avengers. Just make it accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
To
Ne-
just try and showcase their characters and how good Insomniac Spider-Man is and how good the new Miles Morales
never
is,
would
so
have
that they would
happened.
go and play it. No, I know,
Ex-
but that's how I would have seen a better profitability from that.
Exclusive games sell consoles.
The thing is,
Exclusive content tortures the fan base.
Yeah, the thing is, you've also got to get permission then from other platform holders to do that, to do Lee's idea. Because if you guys, I don't know whose decision it is. I don't know if it belongs to, if the decision is Sony's or Microsoft's. But I've played Rocket League with people on my Xbox who are playing on PlayStation, who are driving around in Sweet Tooth's ice cream truck from Twisted Metal, which is supremely badass. But you can't see it on Xbox. It's just a car.
Oh.
You're not even allowed to see it if you're playing on Xbox or Switch, which is the most fucking ridiculous. It's just an ice cream truck, man.
The be all and end all is an exclusive character that has got the gravity in comics that Spider-Man has, is just fucking idiotic.
Yeah.
An idiotic move, and that alone has put so many people off purchasing the game, especially probably more likely Xbox players, I guess. But
yeah. There is a big
just
boycott
mental.
thing coming around on the Xbox forums, X360A or whatever it's called now, True Achievements, Reddit on Xbox One, even the Marvel Avengers subreddit itself has actually got big boycotting things. In fact, the people on the PlayStation Reddit are considering not buying it because, and this has come from Destiny, is that because of how badly Destiny was treated for PlayStation players because they had the extra content and and everyone else didn't. They're scared that the same thing's going to happen.
But this is the thing that Lee was saying about exclusive
MMO
raids
game.
and things, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a live service game that's that's essentially going to be a big MMO or whatever they decide to franchise it as. That's going to be not available to play cross-platform.
Bonkers.
Which is which would have been a massive selling point. In fact, it would have probably made them more money if they'd treated it and they'd said, we're going to open up and have cross-platform play on this one and tried to get a deal struck than having unique characters. Because let's face it, Rocket League has probably made a sweet fuck ton of extra money because it's allowing people to play it cross-platform.
Yep.
Because, I mean, everyone who had it before has probably gone and bought it on multiple different formats now. I think I've got it on Xbox, I've got it on PC, and I've got it on Switch. I don't own a Switch anymore, but I've got it on there.
I've got it on Xbox and PlayStation and Switch.
I think I even have it on PlayStation. Again, I don't have a PlayStation anymore. If it was on Stadia and it was playable cross-platform, then I would probably consider it on that if I actually ever played the Stadia. Speaking of which, I don't even know where the controller's gone anymore for that. Brooks, do you want to borrow my Stadia for a little while to see what it's like?
Not if you can't find a controller, no.
If I can see the controller. I moved slightly on my chair. It's sitting under my TV. The white just kind of glossed over a little bit.
Maybe I don't know, mate.
If you could ever find time to fit
in. There's the thing. I'm still. We'll get to this when we talk about what we've been playing. But I'm still trying to fucking finish Ghost, and I don't think I'm even halfway through it. I'm a long way off.
Same offer. If you ever feel like seeing what Stadia is like to do some streamed video gaming. I've tried one game and it was fucking atrocious, but it was Borderlands. I don't think that was an issue.
I've got so many things to play. I'm just not interested in streaming stuff.
No.
Yeah, it's an open invite for you guys if you ever feel like you want to play a bit of streamed video gaming just to give it a bash. I don't recommend Borderlands. The game's way too big to play like that.
Plus, it's failed so badly.
Yeah.
And literally, I've not even seen a sniff in the news that that console is at the end of its life already.
Well, it's like what was it? Google Plus, the thing they put loads of things into it to start with, and then after about a month, it just sort of disappeared. I don't think they've even got new games. I think I've even stopped receiving monthly newsletters for their Stadia.
I don't know. I gave up looking at Stadia quite a while ago. It appealed to me when it looked like I was going to be doing a lot more nipping off to hotels and stuff for work, and I thought, well, easier than taking PlayStation, which I do know people do. A Chromecast and a controller is a piece of cake to carry around with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But nah, it's not. I've got a Switch now. I'll deal with that. I couldn't care less about Stadia. And frankly, I think, what is it, tomorrow or something? You're able to use Xbox X Cloud with Game Pass, that's gonna kill it. It's dead in the water.
There's already adverts. The Samsung, whatever the latest Galaxy Note, is advertising with Xbox X Cloud.
Yep.
On mobile, not Stadia. So an Android operating system phone is not showing off the Google proprietary gaming profile. It's offering X Cloud.
Yep. It's going to kill it. Stadia will be no more by the end of the year, would be my guess.
It's a shame that the Game Pass and X Cloud stuff didn't kick off, and they seem to have be treading water, or not even treading water. They seem to have parked up for the partnership with Nintendo on Switch, because a couple of titles have moved over to Switch that were Xbox exclusives, like Super Lucky's Tale.
Yeah.
And some other things. I think that was just Microsoft just trying to, muddy the water a little bit and just try and get a bit more over in Japan. And Nintendo were like, cool, this is great. We're not letting you have Mario. Which is probably what the problem is.
Mario.
That Nintendo straight up just said, no, you're not having our stuff.
Alright. What else was there to talk? What else on my list? Halo. Halo's been delayed.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Who didn't see that coming after we saw that footage?
Is it just the footage? Is it just the disappointment everyone had in Craig? Or is it the disappointment of the fact that...
No, I think it's a regular old game delay. Shit happens.
We're having an unprecedented year. It's very unlikely that there's that many people working in the games industry, especially on big projects. There's only so much you can do from home.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. But they're also working on stuff where this is massive. This is huge, and to put a time frame on it of it's going to be released for November when we don't know when they started working on it.
I do think it's an issue that their big launch title is now not going to be a launch title.
Yeah.
I do think that's a problem. And I say this with all the love in the world for Xbox, but what's it going to launch with? And don't fucking say Game Pass.
I think we're at a point now, if it wasn't for the fact that holiday seasons sell consoles, we need to consider that we're at an impasse now where, depending on how the climate in the world's going to be this time in 3 months' time, because that's all it's going to be, are we going to see delays to consoles?
Well, Microsoft put out a thing 2 days ago, obviously confirming the Halo delay, but also confirming a November release for Xbox. Yeah. Now, they didn't say when in November, but they did say November, and that's, if memory serves correct, that's the one and only time they've actually mentioned, November. Because until now, it's been holiday 2020.
Well, the only other mention of November was when they talked about the fact that when Destiny goes into Game Pass, it will be playable on Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
As well. And that's also November. So that's the only other tenuous link they've got to Series X coming November, or whatever they're calling next gen, because they've still got to announce the... Fuck, I've forgotten what the code name is for it. It's something really, really stupid. Anaconda or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the rumored Series
S. My
S.
nickname at high school.
Why? Because you're a massive snake.
Yep.
Not that you have a massive snake. But whatever the rumored Series S, or the rumored second console, like with the sad edition of the all digital variant of the Series X.
Yeah, apparently
double the power of a series of a One X, not the 4 times the power of a One X like the Series X is supposed to be, or however much times the power.
Yeah, we were
It's
talking
still
about this the
more
other week,
powerful
weren't we?
than it's still more powerful than current gen by some margin, but it's entry level price, the entry level console.
But Microsoft have confirmed that this thing comes out in November. I don't know. I've not looked. Are there any other big games during November for Xbox? I don't even necessarily mean exclusives. At that point, I think we're just talking about things like Assassin's Creed.
I think aside from games that are coming out current gen between now and the end of the year, versus and with their smart delivery or price uplift from 2K.
Yeah.
So you spend £70 to get the next gen version.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that. Don't you worry.
Well,
Well,
there's a few games in November that are cross console, so I mean they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think every game that
Cyberpunk.
comes out between now and the end of the year should be coming out on both consoles.
Yeah.
In one wet format or another, whether or not Xbox have turned around and said you can't release your next gen version as DLC and paid for, as much as 2K wanted to turn around and say, look, if you pay £70, you get to play your NBA game on next gen as well as this gen, amongst other things,
But-
versus the standard edition. But
I'm talking about like big flagship games. Like Halo is a flagship game. You know, whether I like it or not, Halo is a game that sells consoles.
Yes.
So
I don't think they've got anything anymore.
No.
Not
I
dated.
think-
Not dated anyway.
Forza.
They've got things that are like winter
I think Forza's
Yeah.
or
launch.
whatever holiday, as they call it.
So
Fucking
they've got a
weird.
bunch of launch window games, but no. I mean, it's a shame. And you know, I
Yeah.
want it to do well, and I want people to buy it, and I want people to have a game to play on it to make it worth spending that money. Do you know what I mean? Game delays happen, and it sucks. You know, but and I was a little bit sad for people that want to play Halo, because you know people get excited about games, and when they get delayed, it drives you up the fucking wall.
Yep.
So launch games are Destiny 2, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Madden, FIFA, basically all EA annual titles.
Wait. Ori and the Will of the
Valhalla.
Wisp, which has already come
Yeah.
out. Gears 5, which is already out. What were the others?
Forza Horizon 4, which is already out. Destiny 2, which is already out.
Horizon 4 is 2 years old.
Yeah,
They're all getting the updates, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
but Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be a launch title on the grounds that it'll already be out by the time that the new version. Dirt 5 again, Gears Tactics, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Watch Dogs Legion
13.
will all be 13, whatever the pre-order, whatever they're calling. Fuck, it's not just called 13, it's something else. 13.
No.
I was actually looking at it earlier. 'Cause I was tempted to buy the pre-order version, and then saw it was £41 and thought, no, that's not happening.
No.
The Medium, isn't that supposed to be coming out on launch?
I don't
Maybe.
think I'm sure it said 2021, but don't quote me on that.
I think you might be right. I think it's a 2021 game. I mean, I'm not. I'm not trying to knock it, saying, "Hey, your console's got no." That's not what I'm doing. I'm just. It's literally out of curiosity that I'm asking.
No, I don't know if there's any real. I don't think there's
Substance.
any launch titles as such. I think that it's all launch window or current gen getting smart delivery.
Yeah. So, should we talk about the buying of new versions for your new console?
Yeah. Move
Cut.
on to that fucking farce as well.
Fortunately, this doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it fucking should do. You cunt.
Well, I think it affects everybody because if this becomes the fucking norm, and this is the third game to do it now,
Yeah.
or let me put this
it's
a better
the
way.
first non-2K game to do it.
Let me put this another way. This is the third company to do it. But
So,
yeah, Sorry, go on, Lee.
Oh, okay. So obviously, Remedy came out and stated that they are going to release a new £35 Ultimate Edition for Control, which, if you remember, was my game of the year last year.
Yeah,
And-
would have been mine, or would have been up there with mine if I'd have played it last year. Because I played it this year and fucking loved
it's
it.
going to release on PC on the 27th of August this year, and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on the 10th of September digital, and then later on in the year, hard copy for all. When you look at the FAQs on the website for this Ultimate Edition, it stated that if you have bought the Ultimate Edition, you will get the free upgrade to the PS5 and Xbox One, Xbox Series X version of the game. However, if you do not have the Ultimate Edition, then you are not eligible for the upgrade. So people like myself who were very early adopters, I bought the game on release, and I've bought both of the DLCs individually. Then we get jack, basically.
Yeah.
We have to buy the Ultimate Edition
So
to get that
you
upgrade.
spent 50 quid on the game,
Yep,
20
45 quid on the game, and then
20 quid on season
£16 per
pass.
DLC. Well, no, I bought them individually, so it was 15 quid a piece.
fucking hell.
Jesus.
And now they're saying that I need to pay another 30 to 35
And if you
to
wanna-
get it on a console where it will actually work properly.
So, because I've not looked too much into this, because this came out yesterday, didn't it? Or day before yesterday. And
Yeah, it
I've
was pretty
I've
recent.
just been a bit busy. Is the Xbox One disc version going to work on the Xbox Series X?
Yes,
Yeah,
to my
definitely.
knowledge,
It just won't get the upgrade.
it won't be optimized.
Okay. So on a technicality only, it's still a backwards compatible version. You just don't get your shiny new smart delivery because they're not doing smart
No.
delivery for third parties, apparently.
No, but obviously, like we discussed previously with the 2K piece, is that they can't sell you the upgrade on its own.
Yeah.
So how they've clearly got around it by creating a new edition of the game to
Yeah.
basically sell most of the people the upgrade.
Yeah. So this is
It's-
how they're doing it with GTA 5 on the PlayStation.
That's how it fits with the GTA 5 next gen version. Is that it's not GTA 5, it's GTA 5 extended and enhanced,
Yeah.
as they call it. So it's a new game coming out on the next generation's consoles.
Yeah.
GTA 5's more odd kettle of fish because it's got closed servers per platform. So next gen one could be interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. But obviously, so 2K have done
Control
this.
is a single player game.
Yeah. So 2K have done this. 2K have done it with GTA, and then done it with NBA.
Yep, pretty
Yep.
much their annual 2K titles.
Yeah. So they're trying to do all their 2K titles. So they found the loophole that Microsoft haven't managed to close yet, and probably legally won't be able to in time for the console release, because there'll be literally 2K would have gone through their contract with Xbox word by word and gone, we can get away with this, and Microsoft's going to have to do some serious jiggery pokery to walk it back. So
Well, it's Microsoft and Sony
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
so
So Sony have kept quite quiet about the whole next generation stuff.
Yeah, because obviously they don't give a flying fuck.
no,
They don't really care about people. Whereas Xbox's whole shtick at the minute is compatibility and accessibility. So it was more important to them, especially with their smart delivery option.
yeah. So 505 Games then have gone, oh, look what they've done. We can
Well, the
do
worst
that
thing
too.
is, the worst thing for me, I think, from remedying 505 is that there's been no comment.
No.
There's been no update, no message, no, oh, let us reassure you, no nothing. They've literally just stayed silent. The internet
Yep.
went fucking off on one yesterday,
Yeah.
and Ultimate Edition and Control were both like trending for hours, and yet still no comment. And I know obviously all the big games reviewing news companies, they've all requested comment, none of them had an update.
No.
It's all just a bit shit. And I think the worst thing for me is simply that and even though I will probably still end up buying it because I want to play the best possible version of it, it's that good a game. I'm just disappointed, and I think that's worse than being angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had this conversation yesterday, didn't we? Because obviously, I've not bought the DLC for Control yet because I don't have time to get into it. So I'll pick it up in a sale at some point when I've cleared a bit of my back catalogue of new stuff. But I'm desperate to play it, and now I'm sitting there going, well, do I spend 25 quid on a season pass, or do I spend 30 quid on a whole new game? And I legitimately, this is the kind of thing that I sit and I have to balance. I'm like, well, I'd have to play the game again, which I don't mind, but when I buy games that I've already played, I'll give an example from here. I can see my BioShock collection sitting on the shelf. I bought that in a sale
Well, you
5
really
years
have to play
ago.
it again.
Sorry?
You wouldn't really have to play. It's not a new game, is it? It's your save game and everything still
think so,
works.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to play the game again.
Does that make it
an
worse?
extra
So I
fiver.
basically just spent 35 quid on buying the upgrade and the DLC.
Well, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are the scummy fucking business practices that really get on my tits.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance that this game will drop in price extremely quickly. The Ultimate Edition.
Well, I hope
Depends how many
so,
people
because
go and buy it.
the base game for the current one, it took ages for me to find a cheap copy. And
That's
even
because it was a slow burner, weren't it?
Yeah.
Right at the start, it went on sale a couple of times, and then obviously word of mouth spread, and everyone started snapping it up, and then it went back up in price for
Yeah.
demand. So
I mean, the only way I got a cheap copy was I used my fucking points from Boomerang, and kept the disc that I'd rented because it was the best
Yeah.
way of doing it.
yeah,
I don't regret it at all because I loved it. I thought the game was fucking stellar, and it's one of the best games I've played this year. But I do feel like, well, should I have just fucking hung back like I was going to anyway?
Yeah, you should have just hung back and got that £30 Ultimate Edition.
Yeah. And
yeah.
then-
Well, this is the other thing in terms of with the Ultimate Edition, and it's a thing that kind of starting to piss me off across a lot of games. It generally just used to stick to fighting games like Street Fighter.
Goatee
But now it
editions
seems,
and
but now it just seems that everybody's releasing a Goatee sort of a year after the game's released, and I'm thinking, well, I might as well
what's the
just
point
wait
of buying
for a year
games
and then
anymore?
buy the best version of it with everything for fucking half the price.
what's
I
the
can say
like the
always do
fucking
that with
Mortal
Ubisoft
Kombat
ones
one?
anyway.
Yeah, why would we support people on release if they're not going to have our backs?
No, this is the problem. But the Mortal Kombat content really fuck players, isn't it? Because you pay 60 quid or whatever for your full version, and then if you want the new content that's coming out, it's an extra 20 quid. Or you can buy the complete collection, which includes all the fucking DLC skins that have come beforehand, plus this new content. It's like 40 quid for the whole fucking lot. Well, I should have just fucking waited.
Yeah, but that means you've spent a year not playing Mortal Kombat, and therefore you're not good enough to play online.
Mate, I'm not
Never
good enough to play
we're not
Mortal
good enough
Kombat
to play
Online
online
anymore
anyway.
anyway.
No.
I'm too old for that shit.
But it's part and parcel to certain companies. So Ubisoft, there's no point buying a Ubisoft game in the first year. Like, well, we played
Only because
Division
they don't
2.
work.
Well, no, they don't work. They're too busy sexually molesting their co-workers.
Yeah. So we were too busy playing. Yeah,
Yeah, we were too busy
playing.
sexually molesting our co-workers. No, we weren't.
Speak for yourselves. That's for legal reasons. That's a joke. We played the Division 2 not long after it came out. Maybe 5 months, if that.
Yeah.
Just as an us thing, and you had it rented for like 6 months at the time,
Yeah.
and should have probably spent more. It was, well, pretty shit.
Wank. It was wank.
I've since
Boring.
I've since bought it. Not bought it. I've since bought the latest DLC, the New York expansion, because it was cheap. It was on a sale from Xbox. It was like 15 quid for the New York expansion plus the season pass, whatever it was, for Season 1, so I got all of the Season 1 extra content. Wasn't a lot of extra content, but it was there. And the game's a lot more enjoyable now because of that. But that's just part and parcel of Ubisoft games. You play them a year later and they're fine. But if every game is going to come out with, oh, we've got DLC, it's going to cost you a half an arm and 3/4 of your leg in order to buy all of the DLC. Oh, by the way, if you just waited like a year, we're releasing a complete edition for cheaper than you paid for the original game.
Yep.
Destiny is another example. If we just swing back to that, how many bits of DLC did you buy for Destiny 1 and 2, Lee?
Technically none, because I bought the deluxe versions of both and got it all for free.
Okay.
But obviously Destiny 2 has released DLCs which have come post the initial 2 expansions. So in theory, if I did go to buy them, I'd probably have about another 4 to buy.
Yeah. So if you were to add together the cost of buying the original game for 60 quid, roughly, then DLCs 1 and 2, which came in the first year, negligible because you've done that. So DLC 3 for the following year was another 40 quid. I think DLC 4 the following year, again, 40 quid. And then the latest one, Beyond Light, again, I think was about 30 to 40 quid. And then just by waiting until November, apparently, it's all on Game Pass. Yeah. But individually, each one of those, if you bought them when they got launched, came with the ability to own Destiny 2 plus everything up to that point for the price, for like an extra £5 on just buying the DLC on its own. So you could have just waited a year, got all of the content and the game for £5 more than what people had paid for just the DLC, having already spent 70 quid on the game in the first place. And Destiny did this year after year for all of their DLCs. If this is going to become
Marvel Avengers are going to be the same. It has to be. This is that's a live service thing to continue selling you products and updates. Marvel Avengers has to go the same way, because otherwise, what the fuck else are they going to sell you? They're not going to keep propping the game up and making new shit for it if people aren't giving money.
So unless they're going to do the other microtransactions route that's possible,
obviously they're going to do that too.
So sell microtransactions and then release your annual DLC or your, not even annual DLC, your little expansions, story expansions. I can go further into this when I'm actually talking about what I've been playing, because mine's going to involve talking about something similar. All of that stuff is free, but you then need to spend a small fortune of in-game currency to get access to it, and the easiest way to do that is by buying in-game currency as opposed to earning it, because earning in-game currency takes forever, specifically so that you get bored doing it and just buy it instead, especially if you keep rolling around special offers where you buy a bit of in-game currency and then you get a rebate of 2.7 times the value of that in-game currency you just purchased.
Yeah, I think Avengers is going to be a fucking shit show for microtransactions and stuff. They'll be literally doing things like, oh, you can buy one of Mandarin's rings. Doesn't do anything. You just wear a ring.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that.
Special and costumes will be purchasable. And special...
But the other issue for me with the Avengers game being made by Crystal Dynamics is that whilst they're just continuing with this live service game, we're never going to get another Soul Reaver or Legacy of Kain.
Nope.
Because I'm sure they still own the IP for that.
Yeah.
And man, we need another one of those.
What another thing that kind of irks me just a tiny bit in Marvel Avengers is there's no creator hero. You play as what you can choose your hero and you play as them. A creator hero with a list of possible superpowers. What was it? X-Men Destiny. Shit game. Great premise. Sorry.
Could be brilliant nowadays, yeah.
Yeah. In a live service variant, X-Men Destiny could be top draw, because you give a big list of possible mutations and possible superpowers. You earn your way through that shit. You become a massively good superhero with super strength or the ability to move rocks, a la Quake. Rather than playing as Thor, or playing as Hawkeye in DLC, or playing as Black Widow.
It allowed them to get more specific, though, didn't it, in terms of what they were doing. Whereas if they didn't, they'd have to leave it a lot more open. It wouldn't look as awesome generally, I think. But yeah,
even to a lesser extent, having one of 3, possibly 4 unique, brand new, created superheroes with special abilities. So you can pick, I don't know, just throw together random male/female option, couple of different like mutant, metahuman, whatever the fuck you want to call them, inhuman, possible, just a regular human, and then just giving them different superpowers or traits. Then you have those Marvel Avengers characters be, well, characters, and you talk to them, you interact with them. You don't need to play as them.
Mm-hmm.
As a single player story, playing an Avengers game would be brilliant, and playing as all of the Avengers across the board would be brilliant, and the ability to change around as those characters could be brilliant. If I'm playing a live service game with loads of other people, I kind of want to see how unique it can be with, oh cool, I'm going to play as a guy with the ability to control electric. You can play as the guy with the ability to control rocks, or smoke, or neon, because infamous. But that's that. I like how I'm more angry about Marvel Avengers than I am about Control.
That's because you've not played Control.
No.
And you should.
And I will probably
really
pick
should.
up Control for £30 when it comes out on next
Yeah,
week.
get the Ultimate Edition.
Get the Ultimate Edition when it drops in price.
Yeah.
Because give it a year. This time next year, Ultimate Edition will be £15 in the Xbox Summer Sale or something.
Yep.
But I'm just, both of those announcements, just disappointing.
As if 2020 wasn't enough of a fuck you. All of these developers and publishers coming out of the water just to shout fuck you even louder.
It's just the devolvement of the fucking game industry as a whole, though, isn't it? It's just they've been doing it for years, and now they're just getting more fucking brazen.
Yeah.
They don't give two shits about you or what you think. So I'm going to end this fucking news section on good news. Because fuck this. I'm trying so hard to be fucking positive, and all this in the goddamn news is negative shit.
Negative Nelly.
Good news. Free updates for The Last of Us Part 2.
Woo, free updates.
Yes. Won't be playing them.
Of course you
But
won't.
yes.
Permadeath
They
mode.
look great.
Permadeath mode and grounded mode. So for those that don't know, grounded mode is super duper fucking hard mode. It was added into The Last of Us, the original Last of Us when it came out, and is really fucking hard. Like
It's like low HUD.
No hard.
Very extremely scarce resources.
Yeah, no
enemies
HUD,
are super.
no resources. Super fucking nutty enemies.
Just like actual human enemies that would notice something creeping across in front of them at 50 yards.
Yeah. And then you get a permadeath mode, which the more I think about it, I'll be honest, the more it fucking scares me. Because there's a couple of points of that game that it took me a couple of attempts on easy and even more attempts on hard. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going to try. As soon as I get my game disc back. Dude, literally, I'm not going to spoil a thing. I'm just going to say the stupid fucking balancing mechanic. The very second I fall off and die, and I have to start the entire fucking game again, a controller is getting launched through the fucking telly.
Yeah, I that never got me. So
Did it not? You jammy cunt. Got me.
There's about 3 or 4, isn't there?
The final one before the falling
I know what you mean,
cutscene.
yeah.
That motherfucker. The first time I played it took me about 4 attempts. It drove me.
No, none of the falling ones got me. Some of the guy that catches up to you in an ambulance.
My Resident Evil
got
bit.
me a couple of times.
Yeah, the Resident Evil section was pretty fucking tough. I did read into it though. So obviously permadeath mode, you can make it so you get 1 death and that's the game done, or you can modify it slightly so it's like per chapter, or I think it's a per chapter or per something else that will spoil the game if I say it. So that makes it slightly less permadeathy, still with a bit of a challenge. We'll see. I want to have a go because I think I got quite good at The Last of Us 2 in my second playthrough, so it'd be worth a bash. But I've lent my disc out to somebody, so I can't play it for a little while.
Well, why you've not got the disc, and if you're going into a no HUD mode of the game, what you want to get hold of, and what I used to use when I was younger, is you know the little eyelets that you get for putting on paper so that you can fix them for going in a ring binder.
Yeah.
You want to get some of them and just put one of them on your middle of your TV screen where you're aiming at. So you've got your crosshairs on your screen anyway, except they're on your telly. That was a trick I used to use when I was younger.
That was the old technique that people used to use for quick scoping and no scoping on like Call of Duty. It was like put a little crosshair on the middle just so you knew exactly where it was you were aiming, just on the off chance that you wanted that extra bit of advantage.
I used to use it for no scoping on Halo 3 because it was quicker than zooming in. You could, if someone walked over that crosshair, you could just tap right, and there was no bloom on Halo 3, so you just used to hit them.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I probably won't bother doing that
because you're not cool like us.
No, I'm not. I've
not good enough.
I've never pretended to be though. But I do like it's got a bunch of new modes in it. It's got a bunch of new mods that you can do, and you can have a mirror mode, which apparently is quite fun. You can play it. You can play it basically through the filters that you would get in a regular old photo mode, including an 8-bit mode, which sounds fun. But
I've seen a picture of it. It looks weird.
It looks weird. It looks
more 16.
Yeah. It looks weird. It looks like it could be fun as a gimmick, but actually I can think of a dozen times in the first hour of that game where I wouldn't be able to play it like that. So it will be, I might flip it on to take a couple of silly screenshots, and then I will most definitely be turning it off. But yeah, for me it's just an excuse for a third playthrough. I do quite fancy permadeath and grounded mode.
At the same time.
Trophies. Yeah, it could be fun. Could be fun. Could not be. It could be really fucking frustrating. Could be really hard. But the thing with The Last of Us 2 for me was, apart from a couple of bits, I never really got angry or frustrated at it. I enjoyed the challenge. So maybe I'll enjoy it again.
Yep.
I'll wait to get my disc back and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, do that.
I think that's it. We've been talking about the news for an hour and a half.
That's because the news made us angry.
Yeah.
Angry and tired.
Are you tired, mate?
No, I just had to stick my head out the window because it's getting far too hot in my room all of a sudden.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I've been catching a couple of glimpses of lightning while I've been talking.
That's why I stuck my head out the window, because it's raining a little bit.
Because you wanted to get electrocuted.
To get away from talking about The Last of Us, because I can't fucking play it.
It blew up someone's chimney up near me a couple of nights ago. They had to close the whole road off, and it blew. Supposedly, Hinckley got hit by a localised, they said tornado, but that's bollocks, like a localised storm, and it literally ripped out a few sort of 100-year-old trees out of the ground as well. The big fuckers and all, not little ones. It's crazy.
Nice.
So I hope that's not come your way.
Doubt it.
Not
if
so
it has,
far.
John, just go and stand outside with that and a handful of plastic bags.
Yeah. But you didn't have to get rid of your PlayStation, John. You could have kept it and played The Last of Us.
I could have done, but someone wanted a PlayStation more than I needed it.
Fair enough.
Actually, it was someone at work. He was buying a PlayStation Pro, and I sold him my one for slightly less than what it was that he was going to buy the one he wanted for.
I remember.
Only because him buying it from me was cheaper, because it didn't involve him having to drive a ridiculous distance to go and pick it up from some random person on Facebook.
Yeah, I remember. Well, once I get it back and I've done my grounded playthrough, and I don't know, Naughty Dog has said there's no DLC coming, but I'm still not convinced. Like I said, borrow my PlayStation, and you can play it then.
Awesome.
Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on, boys, and let's talk about the games we've been playing in the last couple of weeks. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go on then, mate.
So, I have not played anything new, as per normal.
Okay.
It's just that from earlier mentioning, I played GTA 5 a lot recently because it's had its latest patch around, the summer update, as it was, that they announced, because there's going to be a big one at the end of the year that goes into side with next gen version.
Okay.
The summer update was a lot of just quality of life stuff, so little simple things like the ability to return your vehicle to storage in the back menu, having a countdown timer for when you go into the casino to decide whether or not you can go spin the lucky wheel, because you can only do it once every 24 hours. Added some extra missions, which made owning a yacht actually have a reason, because there never were missions for yacht ownership, despite the yachts being in the game from like the third update when it came out.
Okay.
Pretty sure yachts were in the game back when it was on old gen. And extra vehicles and a new collectible to find, which is movie set stuff just randomly dotted around. And the reward for collecting all of it is a weird, creepy alien suit, which is more weird and creepy than the alien suits that were previously in the game.
Okay.
So that was my main game. Well, I say main game. I've also been playing Formula 1 2020. I'm in my second season, and I have the second best car on the grid for my team. It's
Is that the most recent release?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's surprisingly, I'm actually enjoying this more than any previous F1 game, because I've actually managed to get past the first season. Not just got past the first season, I've lasted more than about 2 hours.
Okay.
Because since 2014,
Yeah.
I think 2015, I think, was the last time I enjoyed playing a Formula 1 game. They've not really done much in terms of updates between any of them.
Yeah.
So I think the compounded update between 2016 through to 2019 into 2020 has made this actually a reasonable purchase for me.
Fair enough.
So they've got all of the new tracks that have been dotted into the calendar. And as an aside, I've been enjoying Formula 1 more because of playing this game. So I've actually started watching the races again. And it's picked my interest up a little bit.
Awesome.
So that's just as an aside. I think this has kind of stemmed a little bit from playing Motorsport Manager.
Yeah.
Where I was enjoying motorsport from that perspective. Playing a racing game, Formula 1 racing game at that, has piqued my interest, and I'm enjoying motorsport again, which is quite nice to actually have something I'm interested in TV-wise, because I'd fallen out of love with soccer and American football significantly in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So I've got that going for me. Did I play anything else? No, but I've just downloaded a load of stuff off of Game Pass because I decided to take a look through the app to see what was on the new stuff. So tell me why chapters 1 to 3 are on Game Pass now. So I've got them down.
Is that
West
the
of
Don't
Dead,
Nod one?
That's the new Don't Nod game, yeah. So chapters 1 to 3 are on, and it's a 5-chapter game. So
Okay.
you can do pretty much the entire story before it's all out. I think the chapter 5's planned for I want to say April. I think they said it was chapter 5 was April. So
maybe at some point I'll finish chapters 4 and 5 of Life is Strange 2.
Yeah, I might start Life is Strange 2. West of Dead, which I kind of want to really give that an actual bash, because I kind of enjoy playing that. It was actually a lot of fun. The shooting mechanics was a little odd, but that's because it's an isometric game with a procedurally generated dungeon. That's the word. So that looks pretty cool. I'm also want to give Carrion a go just because Lee keeps raving about it.
Okay.
And Darksiders Genesis, I've got that downloaded as that's on
Nice.
the Game Pass now, so I could give that a go
Yes,
at some
good.
point. So Lee's going to be happy that I've picked up some games. Also Forager, I don't even know what that is, but I started downloading it because it looked cute.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that looked okay. Speaking of downloading games, the Xbox Ultimate Game Sale has just gone live
Interesting.
today.
Anything good?
Yeah, there's a couple of things actually. So I've just picked up Bulletstorm Duke Nukem Edition for £3.
Nice.
Sorry.
So that was worth it.
Is it actually the Duke Nukem edition? Because
Yeah,
it wasn't. No, because I'm pretty sure Brooker bought the Duke Nukem edition.
No, I rented it.
Ah, okay.
I rented
But it had like a lock on it, so that you couldn't actually play as Duke Nukem if you didn't buy it in a certain amount of time.
No, this is the Duke Nukem Edition. And then the only other one that I've caught my eye at the minute is Assassin's Creed Odyssey Ultimate Edition. So that literally comes with fucking everything that's released for it. And that's £30.
Oof.
I mean, that's a bit stiff still, but that does come with a lot of content. So
that's the version
that I won't play.
That's the version I've bought. So when you're ready to play, I said this before, didn't I?
Yeah. Oh, did you buy the Ultimate then? Was it?
Oh no, I bought the gold version.
So
I'm pretty sure the difference between
the
difference between gold and ultimate is a couple of pre-order missions.
Yeah, I ain't bothered about those. Yeah, cool. So, but there's
fucking hell, don't spend 30 quid on that.
Stuff on here.
Take my account, dude. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm not gonna. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here though. So, I mean, yeah, check that out.
So, sidebar, very quickly. Is there any reason to why I should buy a UHD monitor over a QHD monitor?
The fuck is QHD?
So QHD is 4 times standard, 4 times 720p. So it's not quite 4K because 4K has no actual standardization. So it's 4K is just considered to be 4 times HD, but QHD is 4 times 720 versus what UHD is supposed to be 4 times 1080p. It's going to be a monitor that's going to sit in front of my face to play video games
4K,
when I move.
4K isn't 4K 3840? That's what makes it 4K.
I don't know.
So what is quad high definition?
Yeah,
QHD is specified as 2560 by 1440 at 16:9 ratio. All right.
It's basically just a 1440 monitor because the other angle is decided on how wide it is. Basically, I want a 1440 ultra wide curved monitor for plugging into a computer, and then I'm probably going to shove my Xbox into it as well. I just want something smaller in front of my face for when I play video games.
I'm making a cut of that.
Yeah, I know. Because playing on a fucking 43-inch UHD TV, the kind of distance that I'm going to be at when I move, because I'm going to be in a small box room as opposed to, well, a relatively large bedroom. The office, as it were, is when I move. There's no point in me having a TV this size when I'm going to be sat less than 3 feet from it. So I need to consider moving. So I'm just trying to work out whether it's worth going for just an ultra-wide 1440 monitor, or if I should just bite the bullet and get a 4K tiny monitor.
Get the best you can afford is always the answer. Yeah. If you're sitting 2 foot away from it, you don't need a 43-inch. So find the size that you want or need, and then get the best quality you can find or you can afford in that size. If QHD is the way forward, do that. It's literally the only advice I can give you.
Yeah, I'm thinking getting a 34 because that's kind of the distance. What's the size monitor I got at work? It's 38. It feels a bit too big. So the 34 that I had beforehand was fine. The 1440.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably go with the 34. Cool. Right, that's me done. Brooks, your turn.
I say yeah. Should I go, Lee, and then you can finish off by talking about your choice of co-op game?
Yeah, you go first, and then Lee can finish you off.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Where shall I start? I'm not going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima because I'm just still playing it. I played. Where shall I go? Okay, let's get the fucking depressing one out of the way first. I played a game called Before I Forget, which.
Oh, you're right. That is depressing.
Lads, Fucking hell. So I had never heard about this game before, and Paddy played it on his 24-hour Alzheimer's stream a couple of weeks ago, and I was kind of listening in while I was going for my run, and then hurt myself. So while I was walking for a bit, I watched him play it, and I was not prepared for just how bad that game was. In a good way, it was a very, very well, and it is a very, very well made game. So I saw him play it, and I thought, you know what, for a $5, I'll support the devs that made it, and I'll give it a bash myself. It was a 45-minute experience. Literally, the whole game is done in one sitting, and you play as a woman who wakes up, and she has Alzheimer's / dementia / memory loss, and you walk around her house looking for you do a lot of things. You kind of, like a regular old walking simulator, you kind of dot around looking at notes and emails, and it's lunchtime, so I'll go to the kitchen. I'll go see my husband, or who's never there. You never see the husband. And it's got this kind of aesthetic where you walk around in what is essentially a monochrome house, and as you pick up notes and refresh your memory for things, the areas kind of fill with colour. And this is you filling in your memories of being in the house. But in the space of that 45 minutes, you go from just kind of trying to remember little things to forgetting where the bathroom is, and when you need to go to the toilet, and then wondering why the fuck there's little notes telling you why your lunch is there, and who these care workers are on the phone. You've never heard of them, but they know you. And where's your husband? My husband's not around. He must be here somewhere. And it's a little glimpse into the day, into a regular old day of in the life of a person with dementia or Alzheimer's, and it is possibly the most heartbreaking game I've ever played in my entire life. I think to call it a game is unfair. It's just an experience. It's not fun, and kind of when you get to the end and you realise this is just a day, and if you really wanted to torture yourself, you could tomorrow pick up this game and do it all over again, and it's exactly the same as a person with one of those conditions where they'll go to bed and they'll wake up the next day and have to have the same conversations and the same realizations that horrible things have happened. And it's eye-opening and depressing and heartbreaking and essential. I think everybody should play it and experience it just to see what it's like. It's not a game I'm ever going to play again, because frankly those degenerative diseases are literally my worst nightmare. It's my worst fear realized playing this game, but it was an experience, and I've paid far more for far worse experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Paddy playing it, and I don't regret watching Paddy play it in the slightest. But my God, did that hurt?
Yeah, it's completely soul destroying. I do think it's an essential thing. I think everybody should have a bash at it just to get the experience, because I don't think it would be possible to get through that and not be completely heartbroken.
Just thinking about it in my head is making me a bit emotional.
Yeah.
It's huge, and it weighs so heavy. I don't think I could finish it.
I think if it was much longer, I think it would have been dragging on and just beating me over the head with it for the sake of it. But I think for the short, like 40 to 45 minute experience that it is, It's perfect. And there's no point in putting it down because it tells you when you start it's going to be less than an hour. So you might as well just crack on and get through it. But to more fun stuff. I played, finally, after something like 4 years after the first time I heard about it, I finally played some Dead by Daylight at the weekend.
Woo!
For those that don't know, Dead by Daylight is the asymmetric, horror-themed multiplayer game where you have a killer chasing up to 4 people.
Randy teenagers.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, because they're not all teenagers. There's a lot of characters from a lot of films that aren't teenagers. But you basically, as one of the survivors, you have to, or as 4 survivors, you have to power up enough generators to power an exit gate, and then get to the gate and open it and get out before the killer gets you. And if the killer gets you, he takes you, hangs you up on a hook, and sacrifices you to the entity, which is just an all-consuming bad guy.
Kind of like the plot to Cabin in the Woods.
Basically, yeah. But it is a shitload of fun. So I played with Paddy and our mate Sam and another guy from Paddy's stream. And the 4 of us kind of partied up and we did a thing called Survive with Friends. So you go as a party of 4 and you jump into games where someone's just chosen to be the killer. And it's pretty fucking hard, to be honest. We got our asses handed to us a lot because it's a damn hard game. It is damn hard to survive that game, but it's tense. It's fun. I really want to keep playing it, but the problem is you can really tell if you play without your mates, you're going to get your ass handed to you, and it's not going to be any fun. So it's a when you've grouped up with the guys kind of game. Thankfully, it's just gotten crossplay. So next time I need players, I can call on you two and you can come and join us.
Yeah, see, I like asymmetric games providing I know everybody on the team are much more entertaining.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be tougher to play. I think it would be tougher to play actually if there was 5 of you, because one of you would be the killer, and for the sake of fairness and sportsmanship, you'd have to take your headset off and not listen into the conversation because that would be cheating. But apart from that,
with the crossplay, does it have in-game chat as an option?
No, probably not. But like not we, but like I do when I play Rocket League with the work lot, we'd have a Skype conversation or a Discord conversation or something going on.
Make everyone join an Xbox Live Party. Make them create Xbox accounts just so they can join Xbox Live parties through their phone.
Fuck that. But yeah, it is the kind of game that it would be great with friends. And like we were saying about Titanfall the other week, like when you play you jump on and play against people that have been playing for 4 years, which means the only people that are still hanging around are people that are really fucking good at it. And Dead by Daylight's no different. But what really pissed me off was I bought this game because me and Paddy were talking about playing it, and I bought a copy. But of course, we've said on here before, I let my PS Plus sub expire because I'm not using it. So I bought the game, then bought a month's PS Plus sub so I could log on and play, and then suddenly realised, oh look, I already owned this from when it was on PlayStation Plus 2 years ago. Awesome. Yep. Now I have 2 copies of this game. The better bit was actually you get the Nightmare edition on PS Plus, which is the version I bought, which has a bunch of extra chapters in it as well. So you get like the Stranger Things characters and a couple of others. I did spend a bit of money. I bought the Scream chapter, so I get to play as Ghostface. I bought the Saw one, so you get to play as Detective Trapp if you're a survivor, and you get to play as the Pig if you're the killer.
Pigman.
Yeah, I bought. No, it's a she.
Pig lady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Sword 2, I'm guessing.
2 or 3 because it's Trap, so Trap's in 3, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I bought, what was the other one I bought? I bought the Silent Hill one. So you can play as Chloe if you're a survivor, or you play as Pyramid Head if you're the killer, or the executioner as he's called. Because everything is very much, you know who they are,
Yeah, but you're not allowed to know who they are.
but you know, for copyright reasons, they're not really Freddy. They're called the Nightmare. They're not really Michael Myers. They're the Shape, which just made me smile. And Ghostface is 2 words to keep it, you know, copyright not infringing.
Because he has a ghost for a face.
Yes.
Wait, Michael Myers as the Shape, isn't he that kind of just what he is up until the point when people, know him as Michael Myers?
Yeah, see, the Shape is his nickname, and we all call him the Shape. But I know I might be wrong. I'm not sure he's ever actually called the Shape in the films. I am no expert on the early Halloween movies, though, because I'm not that big a fan.
Yeah.
There's some fucking horror heresy for you. You're not allowed to be a horror fan and say that.
Really? Because
Really?
I don't think that the Halloween films are even that good.
But you're not a horror fan.
Well, no, I'm not. But even as a not horror fan, if I could not watch any horror films, I don't think the Halloween ones would be on my list of any horror films.
I create...
Like, I could sit through and watch any of, like, Scream. I've watched multiple of the Friday the 13th stuff.
Yeah.
The Halloween just... I'll tell you what, I've probably watched most of the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
But
even as a not horror fan.
Yeah.
I don't care for the Halloween franchise.
Yeah, see, I commit heresy in a big way when it comes to Halloween because I prefer the Rob Zombie ones, and you're definitely not allowed to say that in horror circles.
But the Rob Zombie ones are super violent.
They are. That's why I love them.
That's Rob Zombie.
But
Of course, you're allowed to like Rob Zombie.
You're 100% not allowed to say that I prefer the Rob Zombie Halloweens.
I think
horror people are weird sometimes.
Yeah, you're not allowed to like remakes.
No.
In any kind of way. Ooh. What if Rob Zombie had decided to do Friday the 13th instead?
Probably still would have been shit because Michael Bay still produced it.
Yeah, but head stamping.
Explosions.
Yeah.
Head stamping so much that explosions happen.
Yeah. Anyway, getting off topic now. But yeah, Dead by Daylight's a shitload of fun, and yeah, next time we play, I would love to drag you guys in because as a team game, it is a shitload of fun, and yeah, we had a whale of a time.
Well, that's the thing, is if there's enough of us as a group of 5, okay, yes, you would have one person per round going, oh, I'm kind of not part of this at all. Unless you do full banter and no tactics.
Yeah, you can't do that. It's impossible to play as Survivor without talking. Like, you would never win as Survivor if you didn't talk to your teammates.
Depends on who you're playing as the killer. Because as the nightmare, as it would be, or as the horror in any way, if you're really shit at video games, Lee, or horror games, Lee, then yeah, would be.
The thing is, right, there's always there's a character for everybody. Yeah, like all these games where you can select, you can find a character you like and get good with them because they do different things. Some of them are fucking nasty as well. Like a couple of the killers that we came across, I was like, and the whoever it was playing as them was so good. Our game lasted about 5 minutes. It was done. We got our asses battered because they just got good with it.
Yeah.
You know, like Freddy's super fast. So I was watching him dot about the map, and I was like, Jesus Christ! I'm avoiding this guy is going to be really fucking tough. But some of them are really slow. You can get make a decent effort in running away from them. If you run away and zigzag a little bit, you could probably do okay.
I'd imagine if you were trying to run away from, say, Pyramid Head, that'd be really fucking easy.
I never got to play against Pyramid Head. But he does come with his giant fucking Final Fantasy sword, so I'm not sure I'd want to get anywhere near him.
I was gonna say, if you go near him, you're fucked. But if you're not near him,
Yeah.
it's not so bad. I think I watched someone play it on Twitch. They were playing as Freddy, and it did seem like the survivors were running around without actually being able to see him.
Yeah. Or Freddy drags you into a dream world as well, which makes life infinitely harder for you. So.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games that you could spend years getting good at it, because every survivor and every killer has got different nuances and they do different things. But it's also, when you're playing with your mates as a pick up and play game, it's a shitload of fun. I went into it on Sunday. It was the first time I'd ever played it. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And bless her, Sam tried to talk me through a lot of it, and I glazed out. A bit like when you two start talking about Destiny. I just went, duh.
When I go stab now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you play as Ghostface?
No, I never played as a killer. I was a survivor all the time. But I did roll through my survivors. I had one of the kids from Stranger Things. I say Chloe from Silent Hill, the detective from Saw, one of the guys from Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, Ash from Evil Dead and Ash vs Evil Dead.
Surely just by playing as Ash would be an instant win, because you've got a chainsaw for a hand and a shotgun for another hand.
Yeah, there's no fighting against the killer. That's the problem.
Bullshit. Ash could beat evil.
Yeah. So, but basically, your only weapons against the killer are like pallets that you can drop on their head, or just drop in front of them to stall them as you run away, and then you hide. But as a killer, so you can kind of crouch around and dinosaur walk super stealthy, or you could just walk around. But the second you start running, you start leaving like scratches on the map, so the killer can see you or see where you've been, so they can follow you around. I'm like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to run away? Yeah, if I can't run away because you'll see where I go, if I want to go hide in a locker or something. So it's quite a deep technical game.
So run into a room where there's somewhere you can hide, and then spider walk out of it without them seeing you.
Pretty much.
Therefore, they think you're in the locker, and then you disappear.
Pretty much.
It's the only way you can survive that bit.
It does. It takes a lot of. It takes practice, and you have to be more tactical than you realise. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to find time to get back onto it.
It is something that's been on my radar, and it's been installed to my Xbox since it went onto Game Pass the first time, because it is something that does interest me on a very basic level, because it looks like a shitload of fun as an asymmetric game, but I just can't pluck up enough courage to play a horror game.
It's quite tense from an asymmetric standpoint. Like, you'll know the killer's near you because there's a heartbeat that starts going and gets louder and faster the closer it gets to you, and it does.
Oh goody!
It is surprisingly scary.
Oh goody!
But I wasn't expecting. I was expecting, Evolve, and what I got was me absolutely chewing my nails because I knew the fucking killer was near me somewhere, but I couldn't see it, and I was still trying to sneak away. It was so much fun. I adored almost every second I was playing. It was really, really fucking good, and I'm definitely dragging you guys in. And obviously, I spotted while we were talking about it the other day, the Friday the 13th is just free on Xbox, so I've got that installed as well, and I want to have a play of that and maybe drag you guys into that.
I will put this. I'm not scared of horror games. I've played any of the Resident Evil games up to a point. And I finished 4, 5, and 6 because they are not that scary to start with. But I can't handle the tension. Like, the only reason to why I didn't get any further in 7 than getting into the house and wandering around a little bit and seeing one of the people walk past the door frame as I walk towards it.
Oh,
and
7 is so scary.
And just the overall this just feels like I'm going to get shanked from every possible angle at any given moment.
Yeah.
I can't handle, and that's why I turned it off, because My heart can't take tension. The horror is fine, and you can make the game as scary as you want, as long as it feels like I've got a fighting chance.
I can't wait for you
But
to play Last of Us 2.
I finished The Last of Us 1, and
Oh, 2 is so much scarier.
I really enjoyed playing The Last of Us 1 because it felt like I was following a story where I had to know where it was going, and then I got to a point where I just wanted to cry,
Yeah.
obviously, multiple times. But yeah, playing a game like Dead by Daylight, the amount of tension in it is just that's what's going to get me playing it. And I'm playing with friends, and the full banter aspect of it could be a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah. Oh, I won't fucking play asymmetric multiplayer without my friends. Absolutely not.
Even as the sole
Asymmetric friends.
Exactly.
It's a shame.
No, I don't think I'd even play as the killer on my own, because I think people would just be dicks.
Yeah, well, I think Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th both have issues with people being reported for being too good as the killer
Yeah.
and
Oh,
getting banned
that will never
for
be
it.
my problem.
So I'm pretty sure there's actually people have been banned because playing as the killer, they've played as the killer, and they've obviously won because they've done things that the others didn't like because they cornered them or they followed them around too much, and therefore
Yeah.
they've reported them for griefing,
Yeah.
and then they've received bans for it because obviously they don't see the video of what happened and say, oh look, he followed him around because it was pretty obvious. They just see this guy just kept hitting this one guy as if it was just attacking him and go, well, ban hammer.
You know
Due to-
what? There are perks in Dead by Daylight, and we were playing. I said to Sam, who's our resident DBD expert, and I was like, that dude knew where the fuck I was. Like, I was doing a bang up job of sneaking around, and I was half done with repairing a generator, and no one had a fucking clue where I was. And I saw him take somebody out, and then he beelined directly to me. I was like, that fucking knew exactly where I was. But it's because he's got a perk loaded that shows him where everyone is when he hooks a survivor.
Yeah.
So, but there's a way around everything.
Yeah.
So if you know, you'll figure out pretty quick he's got that, because literally he'll do the hang it and then he will go straight for someone. So he's definitely got that perk on. So the second he hooks somebody else, you find a locker to hide in because he can't see you if you're in a locker. So there's everything. It seems very well balanced. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily feel it, and it does feel like you're getting your ass beaten, but it is very well built, and yeah, definitely dragging you guys into play some. Definitely.
Just hide in a locker and go for a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Then you don't escape the nightmare.
Well, the
Or
problem
do you
is
have to escape?
You
then?
stay in the
You do,
nightmare
you-
forever.
you have to escape the area, so you have to repair X number of generators depending on how many survivors there are, and then once the generators are repaired, you have to get to an exit gate, and the exit gate is the ultimate fucking troll, because it takes about a minute to open, and while it's going, this enormous loud sirens going off, and oh, you absolute fucking bitch, you know the killer's coming for you straight away the second you try and open it. But yeah, it's super good. If you don't escape, you get there's an end game for each map, and it basically just it consumes everybody left behind. It's very cool.
So just sit in a locker and wait until the siren goes off and then walk out the door.
And it is a siren. When the end game kicks in, it's a siren. And then when you play on the Silent Hill school level, it's an air raid siren. And it is the perfect Silent Hill air raid siren. And it is terrifying. It's brilliant.
I was expecting like a school bell.
No, it's the Silent Hill siren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you said school, I was kind of like, ooh, school bell. And then you said air raid siren.
No, it's just the school from Silent Hill is the map. It is very good.
Such anything involving horror and schools, just like that's it. No, thank you.
You don't fancy a bit of Outlast or Outlast 2?
No, no, I do fucking not.
New.
Outlast is well scary,
Straight no.
lads.
Straight no.
I've not played number 2. I watched Paddy play it. I played number 1, and that was right on the edge of my my limit. It was well scary. But yeah, that's me done for all my games. I think. Just double check my list. Dead by Daylight, before I forget. Yeah, Ghost. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. That's me then.
Yeah, crack on, mate.
So I finished The Messenger again and Bastion again. So I'm not going to bother talking about them because I've been through them before many a time. If you've not got them, play them. And then I played Carrion, which is the new 2D reverse horror game released very recently. Came out straight onto Game Pass as well, so which is where I played it.
What's reverse horror?
So you play the killer. This case, in this case, it's like some sort of bio mutant monster with tentacles and the ability to absorb organic material.
Ooh.
So you start off with this little sort of brain thing with a couple of little tentacles, and you basically just have to go around and find your way out and find out what happened, how you got there, and basically get out of this whole science experiment and find your way out.
Cool.
And it's a lot of fun, and I think it would make a brilliant A grade game, or AAA, probably not AAA, but definitely a top end game. It would make a brilliant premise for a really good, something a bit longer, something where the enemies can react better to your scares, because you have you have the ability to scream or moan or roar or whatever you want to call it, and you can sort of make certain enemies shit themselves and they run off in the other direction, and other enemies sort of come looking for you with the guns out and things like that, and then you can sort of slip through a vent and pop out behind them and rip them in two. Stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's a standard Metroidvania though, so you go along and you pick up new abilities as you go along, so you get bigger and you can do different things. One little feature that I did quite like about this is that on a standard Metroidvania, you generally, once you continue picking up powers, they're always yours.
Yeah,
you can always use them. Well, on this, what I liked about it was when you were the tiny little blob, you picked up a couple of powers, but then when you were to medium-sized blob, you couldn't use those ones again, and you got 2 new ones. But then you could find these certain, basically just liquid pools of bio crap, and you could split yourself in half and leave like a blob of your shit in this pool, and then you could go off as the little one with the 2 original powers to do stuff, and then come back and pick up your blob again and go, so it opened it up into sort of figuring out how to get through certain doors, because you had 4 powers, but you had to split yourself first and things like that. And then obviously when you get to the biggest version, like the mammoth version of this fucking thing, you got 2 more, and then obviously you could split yourself twice and so on and so forth. So yeah, it was good fun.
Cool. Pretty
short. Unfortunately, I think that's the only thing I'd say that was bad about it. It was relatively short. I 100%ed the game, including all achievements, in 2.5 sittings. So probably 6.5, 7 hours.
Okay.
Tops. So yeah, it's pretty. It does feel very short.
Yeah.
Even with all the backtracking that I did to pick up bits and bobs and find containers full of biofluid that give you upgrades and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely worth playing. Nice little, interesting,
cool
story. Obviously, there's no spoken language in it from the mutant.
Yeah.
And so you kind of see things from its perspective as to why and how it got there, which I also thought was quite an interesting take.
Yeah.
So yeah, pick that up I'd pick that up anyway if you have to pay for it. So it's definitely worth a little play.
Cool.
Fun little game.
As you're talking, I'm finding it on the Game Pass app and I didn't do my thing.
And then so we this month's game was my choice. Again, a myriad of games that we would like to choose from, but they're either couch co-op or we've not all got the same console, John, and then and things like that. So in the end,
the cracks are starting to show at this point in the year, aren't they?
Yeah, there's just it's hard to find something that I think you guys would want to play that I think is worth playing as well. And I still don't think I found something that suitable, but it's palatable at least. Don't know, it was okay. So we played Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which was an Xbox 360 PS3 era release game, which just had no end of issues in terms of licensing and characters. Like John said earlier, I think it was on the Wii as well, and DLC. Then they stopped selling it, and it was just all a bit chaotic. And that has continued in this remastered version as well. So if you've not already purchased it, you can't buy it now.
Yeah.
Digitally, because licensing again.
I thought that was a brilliant thing when it was put onto the marketplace, the remaster, for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then it was like
weird, wasn't it?
Now we've got no licensing for it.
Yeah, it was weird. Now, I wouldn't say that I've not enjoyed it, because obviously I really like it. I think what made it worse was the fact that I couldn't even sit in my room comfortably. I literally was sitting there playing a game, felt like I'd been for a 6-mile run.
Yeah. I think
fucking hot.
Yeah, I think we were all like that those couple of nights we were playing. It was so fucking hot Monday and Wednesday. So hot.
We definitely should have played it last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know Marvel Ultimate Avengers, it's kind of an almost top-down co-op beta brawl 'em up. We were playing in arcade mode, so you don't have a drop character, but in cooperative mode, you have an additional character you can all switch in and out of. So, and on the main campaign, you can choose 4 Marvel heroes to choose from, and you can select any of them at any point. And then you just bash through the storyline, which for Brooker's part, we skipped over most of the text.
Now, be fair, I didn't ask you to do that.
No, but I thought it was pointless sitting there reading it all, because it is a text-heavy game.
It's a text-heavy game, and it's fan service 100%. But yeah, I was there for the ride, man. I would have just carried on.
Yeah, the main story is you could get without all that fan filler, though.
Yeah.
You don't need all the text. This FMV videos and the levels themselves give you all of the information you need for the main storyline.
Yeah.
So I think we got to the end of Mephisto's realm. I can't remember how far that is in terms of the total game.
I think that's...
I'd say probably over half, but...
I was going to say, that's mid-Act 2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Act 2 culminates in the end of...
Asgard.
Asgard, yeah. Because Act 1 is up to the end of Stark Tower.
Yeah. So I mean, I did enjoy it. I don't think it's aged very well.
No, it has not.
I remember the videos and the cutscene videos looking a lot better, and other versions of those I've seen on the net, because I checked it out this afternoon. They're a lot clearer. So I'm not really sure what's going on, or whether I was looking at a 360 era version that someone had upscaled or what. But I've managed, I found plenty of video that looked fucking damn sight better than the shit that I was looking at on the screen for the cutscenes. But yeah, still one of the better Marvel games out there, definitely. Even now.
Yeah, it was fun enough. It's not a game I would have played on my own. Ever, but
it's for Marvel fans really to play it alone.
100%.
Yes, definitely.
So there you go. That was this month's game. Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
I best.
I'd say go and buy it if you're a Marvel fan, but
You can't find it
buy
anywhere.
you can buy a physical copy. Can you buy physical copies?
I
On
feel like
eBay.
the remaster was digital only,
Yeah,
wasn't
I think it was digital only, but is it backwards compat?
it? A part of me wants to say yes. No, wait. I think it wasn't because of the remaster. I think Activision.
Ugh. Well, I know that most of those games aren't backwards compatible because I wanted all of the X-Men Apocalypse and the X-Men
X-Men Legends.
Legends, yeah, and there was another one as well, wasn't there? There's a third. I wanted all of those, and Marvel Rise of the Imperfects, and all those old Marvel games that I used to love. Like literally none of them are backwards compat. So most of the Spider-Man ones aren't either, which is quite frustrating. So I doubt that it is, to be honest.
Yeah, that's definitely a licensing thing because
Yeah. Oh,
getting hold of
sure.
fucking licensing for Marvel intellectual properties, especially stuff from anything before Disney bought them, is near impossible.
Oh
Because-
yeah, but more so because they'd rather sell you it again somehow than let you have it for free, even though you've already bought it.
Yes.
So yeah, that was this month's game. Hopefully, I can come up with something a modicum more enjoyable in November.
You think that's bad? At the
Fun.
moment, I'm kind of stuck with. Do I suggest we do a heist on GTA?
I haven't got it. There's your answer.
It's on Game Pass.
You know, so
No,
I
it's
was
not.
going to go with Grounded, as we
But-
spoke about on the last podcast, but John has since confirmed that it's trash.
It's cheeks.
Yeah, so
By all
we
means, give it a
we
go
decided not to.
and play it just on your own, both of you, just to see if you can get any kind of enjoyment out of it. I did not, but it might have just been because I was playing with people who'd already done a bit to start with. So I was going in onto a game where I was entry level and they had already played for a day. And
Well, if a guy that
played pretty
likes
solid.
Wooden Train Simulator,
I
doesn't
don't like
it, I'm
I
not
don't like
playing it.
Minecraft. That's my biggest issue. Is that the
Yeah,
game
I
feels
don't
far too
like
much like
Minecraft.
Minecraft for it.
I don't like those collect and build games anymore. Minecraft and Fortnite kind of put me off.
It look, Grounded doesn't seem to have an end game that can be achieved easily. It seems like you have to spend an absolute small fortune of your own time to build yourself towards an ending, which the ending doesn't seem to be like satisfying. It feels like the game is entirely filler all the way up to an ending, and
Yeah,
whereas
that sounds crap.
better games would be if you're trying to reach the ending because the ending is the goal, whereas this is the middle is the goal, and the more time you spend in the middle, the more fun you have.
Yeah.
And
Well, by November, we might have some more games to choose from,
Maybe.
with any luck.
I've got to find something for next month now, haven't I?
I thought you were just going to pick World War Z again.
I probably will, because we're halfway through, so it'd be good to get it finished.
I have finished it.
Boo.
What?
Yeah. I didn't really want to talk about it that much.
No need.
But I have actually finished World War Z.
Oh, okay. Maybe I won't pick World War Z then.
Scum of the earth.
I mean, I could still play it with you guys. It's just that I've managed to level 32 characters. 2 classes.
That's not just finishing it, dude. That's playing it quite a fucking bit.
It is actually.
Considering we're halfway through and none of our characters are even close to that.
No, we got to. Well, we were playing with Phil though.
Phil sucks.
That makes a huge difference. Like when I was playing it, the amount of difference it made when we played with Dunny versus when we played without Dunny was very pronounced.
Bloody
Some
hell.
people just, even though you like them as friends, they just drag the whole team down.
They do, don't they? Bloody hell.
Yeah, playing with Phil would play. If us three played it together, we'd probably smash through it quite easily. As soon as you add Phil to the mix, it becomes a lot harder.
Well, carrying always makes it harder.
It's like when you play Rocket League.
It's not just that, it's like when I do anything with Phil. You're always carrying him, even if you're going out on the piss. You're carrying him. You're just stopping him from getting into fights and buying his beers. It's the same shit all the time.
Surely you just let him have the fight and just walk off.
Well, no,
And then-
because then I
then
end up getting.
then-
you know,
Then pick him up from the hospital tomorrow.
I'm a
morning.
non-conflict kind of guy. I know that the aggressive attitude and demeanour might make it seem otherwise, but really, I'm non-conflict. So yeah, fingers crossed for next month. Then
Yeah.
one
So
way or the other.
maybe
At
it'll
least
be.
we've got a pro on the board.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be World War Z. Maybe I'll go find something else. We'll see.
I need to find something else as well.
I think that wraps us up for the week. It really needs to. We're at 2.5 hours.
Yes.
I've got an
Goodbye,
hour.
everyone.
I've got an hour and 35 minutes until this is expected to be online because we're recording a day later than normal. My fault completely. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I've got to get off.
Well, it's only 2.5 hours worth of recording to filter.
Yeah, be fine. It didn't. I think we did all right. There was no.
Provided you don't listen to the whole thing before you put it out there.
I generally do just to make sure that there's nothing said that shouldn't be said, and there's no really really long fucking gaps of people just going. Duh. Anyway, yeah.
Pete.
Let's wrap up. Lee, where can people find you, buddy?
Pyro Loveridge, almost everywhere.
Cool. And John?
I am on Twitter as the John_CU and Xbox Live as Long Dong Silver.
Cool. Don't come looking for me. I don't want to know. Until next time, gentlemen. Next one's going to be our 100th episode, and Lee is going to be hosting.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, spoilers.
So yeah, until next time, gentlemen, say goodnight.
Good
Good
night.
night.